Poland and the Baltic states have been thrust into the front lines of escalating east-west tensions, following a stark warning from Moscow that branded them as potential first targets in the event of a NATO assault on Russia or its ally Belarus. The declaration came from Sergei Naryshkin, chief of Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service, SVR, who on Tuesday told state media that any NATO aggression would trigger a swift and punishing response. The first to suffer will be the bearers of such ideas among the political circles of Poland and the Baltic countries, Naryshkin said, accusing them of recklessness and high-level aggression. He claimed their intensified military posture had played a direct role in pushing Europe into its current, very dangerous crisis. Pointing to Poland's East Shield initiative, a major border fortification plan along its frontiers with Belarus and the Russian exclave of Kaliningrad, Naryshkin framed Warsaw's moves as a hostile provocation. The SVR chief argued that military buildup near Russian and Belarusian borders was one of the triggers for the current conflict, adding that Moscow and Minsk are fully prepared to act preemptively to defend their interests.
Russia and Belarus see an increase in the military activity of NATO countries on our border. We feel and see that European countries, especially France, Britain, and Germany, are increasing the level of escalation around the Ukrainian conflict. So, we have to be proactive. We are ready to do so.
His remarks coincided with a high-stakes visit to Kyiv by NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte, who condemned Moscow for a deadly strike on Sumy and reaffirmed the alliance's steadfast support for Ukraine.
I am here with you today, dear Volodymyr, to affirm to you and the Ukrainian people this simple message. NATO stands with Ukraine. NATO continues to provide political and practical support for Ukraine by delivering security assistance and training through our commands in Wiesbaden. And we work closely together in Kyiv and in Brussels. What's more, just in the first 3 months of 2025, NATO allies have already pledged more than 20 billion euros in security assistance for Ukraine this year. Our commitment is clear and concrete.
Delivered in the heart of Kyiv, Rutte's speech underscored NATO's expanding military role and drew a pointed reaction from Moscow. Naryshkin doubled down, accusing France, Germany, and the United Kingdom of orchestrating a Western strategy to encircle Russia and destabilize its security framework. Echoing that sentiment, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, speaking on April 12th at the Antalya Forum in Turkey, argued that NATO lost its raison d'etre after the Cold War and should have been disbanded alongside the Warsaw Pact.
NATO should have been dissolved in the first place, after the Soviet Union ceased to exist, after the Warsaw Treaty ceased to exist. And there were voices in the West saying, guys, let's now concentrate on OSCE, the discussions of NATO, the scares of Europeans, that they would be left to their own devices. We don't interfere. If they believe that they are still relevant in the form which failed many times.
With rhetoric intensifying on both ends, Moscow appears bent on exploiting divisions within NATO's eastern and central members. Yet instead of backing down, the alliance keeps surging ahead, and with each billion pledged to Kyiv, the shadow of a NATO-Russia clash looms larger.